In this video, we'll look at entering geographical control points. We're going to start by opening an existing survey in the G2346 project, and we're going to open the -1 file. And because this is a read-only file, we immediately want to save it as G2346. Traverse BC will ask us if we want to overwrite it. We'll say yes. And let's open up the point view now. And notice that here are the points we imported earlier from the CMM file. What we want to take a look at now is entering points directly in to the point manager, the view that we have here. I'm going to pin this view, so it just leaves it up here. And I'm going to choose this icon right here that says Format View. F9 is the hotkey for that. And this is where I tell Traverse BC what I want to include in the view. So I've got point label description, Q is the origin, J is the status, and then I've asked for a latitude and longitude. I could just as easily also include a grid factor or convergence, so I'll just type a small w here and choose OK. And now Traverse BC adds that convergence column to the other columns that are already in the view. Now, probably the easiest way to enter a new geodetic position is to come down below the existing points and just double click. Traverse BC automatically adds a point. It uses the next available point number, so we've already used 8. So it says the next available number is 9. And it doesn't matter, I could have filled in some of the missing point numbers also. And I'm just going to enter now a geodetic position. So let's type in 42.4215, Traverse BC converts that then to north 42 degrees, 42 minutes, etc. Let's do the same thing for the longitude, but this time I'm going to use a minus to designate a west longitude. So I'm going to type minus 123.1515, Traverse BC replaces the minus with a W for west. I also could have typed a W, uppercase or lowercase, before or after the 123, and Traverse BC would have recognized also that that was a west longitude. Let's come back to the formatting, and let's include the letters Y and X and get rid of a couple other things so we don't make it too wide here. In fact, I'll get rid of the Q also. And I see that now I have northing and easting displayed in addition to latitude and longitude. So this particular survey, if I look down at my survey information, is using a coordinate reference system of NAD 83 in the Oregon South Zone. So Traverse BC is using that coordinate reference information to transform each of these geodetic positions that it's holding into a coordinate position on the grid, on the state plane grid. And the preference then here is, the thing that we call preference, is that you can see the latitude and longitude are bold. Traverse BC is going to hold those positions no matter what. As needed, or when it needs to, it will update the position of the coordinates based on those geodetic positions. I could do exactly the opposite. I could enter coordinates for a point, and Traverse BC would know that it's supposed to hold the coordinates and simply transform the geodetic position as needed based on the coordinate reference system. Now, when we imported this file into Traverse BC, we told it to create a traverse, and we call that traverse the same as the file name. So I'm going to right click and go to Properties on this, and I can see that we shorten the file name down to GPS coordinates text, the file name. But in the description we put the full path of where it came from. So let's go ahead and double click this traverse. The first time we open a new traverse, we get this new traverse dialog. I'm simply going to tell Traverse BC that I want to use a GPS 2D format and choose OK. So Traverse BC displays much of the same information that was in the point view. In fact, I can bring up the points here and see that they're the same. I don't have point 9 because I added that later. It'd be real easy for me to come over to this traverse and simply recall point 9. And Traverse BC would bring it into the traverse. But I want to show you that we can also enter geodetic positions here in the traverse view as well. So for this next point 10, let's come back in and enter that same position, 42.1515, enter, and enter the longitude as well. So minus 123.1515. And if I press the Enter key, I've entered that point and it moves down to the next point. Notice that as I added point 10 to the traverse, it showed up over here in the point view as well. And 11 did because it added the next point ready for coordinates or a geodetic position. If I don't want point 11, I can simply come back to the delete key and Traverse PC gets rid of it. So no matter how I entered a geodetic position, whether I imported it from a CMM file or a Trimble Business Center file or any GPS receiver, or whether I entered a geodetic position in the point manager like we see on the right, or I opened a traverse and formatted the traverse to display latitude and longitude and entered the geodetic position there, it really doesn't matter. The point is now part of the survey, and I can reuse that in any COGO, any traverse, any drafting that I choose to.